Good evening, Brownsville educators, AOB members. We are here for our second day of our candidate forum. Today, we will be interviewing or providing questions to place 5, 6, and 7. All candidates, again, were sent invitations to participate in this forum, and we do have receipt confirmation of invitation being delivered. All candidates were given a deadline of yesterday, day before yesterday now, to submit their questionnaire with preliminary questions in order to consider them pre-screened for the AOBE candidate forum. That being said, again, you might have noticed Denise Garza is on the posting and notice that was sent out. That is because she had confirmed to attend, but her questionnaire was not submitted.
That was yesterday's.
That was yesterday, yes. As an association for our members, we need to make sure candidates we consider for endorsement have been properly vetted with the membership's majority in mind of different concerns they are currently facing. Therefore, if a candidate did not complete all requirements, they will not be at these forums or considered for endorsement. AOBE is a democratically member-controlled professional association. With that being said, voting ballots will be sent out on Saturday for voting on endorsement of candidates. We will have more information for you at the end of today's forum, okay? Again, the preliminary questionnaire is posted on our website, www.myaobe.com. You go to the left, there's 3 lines, the drop bar. Click on 2020 BISD candidates. And I'm not going to read the questions today because it did take a little bit of time yesterday. So if you're interested, please, please, please look up our website. It's also down there on the banner. And I believe anything you want to add, Ida, before we?
Yes, definitely. Yesterday, we were trying to get to as many.
Yes, I forgot to say that.
As many questions as we could. So we have the side panel for comments. But what we're going to do today is if you have any questions you want to submit for the last round, you can go ahead and text them directly to me at 621-3011. That is 621-3011. Would you be able to add that, Veronica, to the bottom?
Yeah, I'll add that. But you know what, Ida? In between every round, maybe we can just repeat it. Just remind me so that I can repeat it. And that way we can make sure that everybody, if they log in a little bit late.
Definitely. So, again, we welcome everybody. And we hope that this is also going to be a productive forum. And you get to get some of your questions answered from the candidates. So let's go ahead and begin.
Yeah, let me just. All right, I added it there already.
Thank you. Cindy typed it on the side panel. 621-3011. Thank you, Miss Cindy.
Ms. Arellano, thank you so much. And again, like in between rounds, we'll go ahead and restate the number so that you guys know where to be texting in case people log in a little bit late. And the main issue, guys, is because we're on so many platforms that we're not getting all the questions. And there's been a glitch pretty much every time we've been on that all the questions and comments are not showing up. So that's the best way for us, we figure, to make sure we do get to your questions, okay?
Definitely. Somebody said to pin the phone number. I do not know what that means, Vero, but maybe you do.
I know my name.
Then there you go.
I don't know.
Close enough, but let's go ahead.
Maybe they mean like that.
I guess, but no, we can just continue, and we'll just repeat the number.
Yes, you're speaking Chinese to me, Ms. Torres. All right. Okay. So again, we're gonna go in order as they fall on the ballot. And we're going to go in order of place. So we're going to go place 5, place 6, place 7, and then in the order that they fall on in the ballot. Okay? All righty, Miss Ida. Let me is the wheel ready?
We're going to do the introductions first.
Oh, my God. Yes. I'm so sorry. Yes. Thank you. All right. Our first candidate, I'm going to take Miss Ida off. Bye. Is is Miss Daniela Lopez Valdez. I'm going to bring her on. Let me get my timer ready. You will have 2 minutes, okay? You may begin.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela Lopez Valdez, and I would like to thank the members of AOBE for inviting me to be part of this forum. I was born and raised in Brownsville, Texas, and my parents are Joey and Sylvia Lopez. My mom has been a teacher for 36 years at BISD, and my husband is Hector Valdez. Public service has been instilled into my family values, and I was raised on the importance of giving back to your community. I received a Bachelor of Arts in Marketing and Economic Sociology with a minor in Fashion Media at Southern Methodist University. After graduating, I worked at JCPenney corporate office for 4 years, where I managed a multi-channel marketing strategy for 2 divisions, accounting for 1.1 billion US dollars of total e-commerce and retail revenue. I also managed a team of employees. I went on to start my own marketing consulting business, Style House Media, and I'm the marketing director for Blue Turtle Project. I'm a recent graduate of Leadership Brownsville Class 35. I'm a member of Connect BTX and a member of St. Mary's Catholic Church. I have strong experience in being fiscally responsible, working with a large team, and I have always been an advocate for giving back to your community. I truly believe that the students and the staff of BISD deserve the best leaders who serve on the basis of integrity and public service. Education is the foundation of our community, and I believe that we need to work together to ensure a prosperous future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez. Alrighty. I'm going to reset my timer. All right, our next candidate is Mr. Erasmo Castro. Let me bring up my timer. You have 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, good evening again. Thank you so much for AOBE for offering this amazing opportunity to candidates and also to the individuals that form AOBE, but not only y'all's members, but every single member in the community. It's very important, I would say, to have these type of events so that individuals could learn the platforms, learn what each candidate is bringing to the table. I was born and raised here in the city of Brownsville. I've had all my schooling at BISD. I started off at Webb, Cromac, Rosa del Castillo, Cummings, Porter. I received a bachelor's degree from Austin Graduate School of Theology, where I excelled in Christian studies. My degree is in theology. And I'm also an associate minister for Iglesia de Cristo here in the city of Brownsville. In my time here in Brownsville, I have worked to be an advocate for individuals out there, and always concerned with the shortcomings of individuals that we sometimes place in responsible positions, such as leadership roles, and always do my best to try and hold individuals accountable to the people. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in government of the people, by the people, and for the people. One of the reasons why I am so interested in running for place 5 on the BISD board is because I think that we've failed somewhat in regards to transparent stewardship. We need to bring transparency back to the board. We also need to be good stewards of that which has been entrusted upon us. For too long, we have settled for what they've tried to give us. It is time that we take a more active role in that which is ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. All right. Now we are going to go to place 6. And the first person on the ballot is Marisa Leal. Let me just pull up my timer. Okay, you will have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marisa Franco Leal, and I'm running for the Brownsville Independent School District, Board of Trustees, Place 6. I was born in Loma Linda, California, to a single mother. At the tender age of 6 months, my mother and I moved back to my mother's home in Brownsville, Texas. My mother provided me with everything I needed. She worked hard for the little we had. We weren't wealthy financially, but we were rich in love. I attended Victoria Heights Elementary, Cummings Junior High, and Porter High School. I walked to each of these schools every day. On a cold and rainy day, my grandfather would drive me to school. I married my high school sweetheart, Louis Leal, We have been married for 28 years and a couple for 38 years. Our daughter just turned 11 years old and started middle school this year at Stillman Middle School, where her father is a teacher. My husband has been an educator for 30 years. After graduating from high school, I started working to help my mom. I started at the Texas Workforce Commission and was trained in office management. I was hired by Mr. Ernesto Gomez at Gomez Law Office and worked there for 2 years. I applied at BISD and was hired at Webb Elementary as a first grade paraprofessional. I was then promoted to the school librarian before certified librarians were required. BISD eventually closed and transferred to Skinner Elementary as a parent liaison. I worked at Skinner as a parent liaison for 9 years. I was offered a job with Interstate Studio as district manager. I was a district manager for 2 years. They offered me a promotion in Dallas, but I could not, nor would I, leave my home in Bronzeville. I am currently the operations director for the UPS stores from Laredo to Bronzeville, and I have been for the past 20 years. Leal means loyal in Spanish. I have been loyal to my family, my friends, my faith, and my community. I am running for BISD school board because I am a parent of a student, a wife of an educator, and a concerned citizen for our
Thank
community.
you, Vanessa. Thank you,
Thank you.
Vanessa. Okay, let me reset my timer. Our next candidate in place 6, Mr. Joe Rodriguez.
Good evening.
Okay, you will have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Good evening. I want to thank the AOB for having us here and representing what we depict to the public. I am a 37-year-old retired employee from BISD, having served as 24 years as an administrator. I've been elected 6 times to the BISD board. I decided to run because I think we have a lot of big problems that I feel that I can best serve as the elder statesman in promoting the welfare and the care of our children, because our children are our most sacred possessions, as well as our school employees and teachers and so forth. I am a graduate of Sacred Heart Elementary School in Edinburgh, a graduate of Edinburgh High School, a college athlete where I went to school on a scholarship. I was a two sport athlete, the only one in college at the time. I have 2 master's degrees, graduate of Pan American UTB, graduate master's degree from Sam Houston State University in Huntsville, and I have a master's degree in athletic administration from the NAIII in Indianapolis, Indiana. At one time, I was the only one in South Texas, south of Corpus Christi, who had that master's degree. The reason for me running, I think we're in big time trouble from a standpoint of this pandemic, our problem here. We need to keep our students safe and our teachers and our employees safe. That's the most important thing that we have at this time. My program has to do with the belief that yes, we can solve the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez.
Wow.
2 minutes, yes. Thank you. All right. Let me reset my timer. And then we have in place 7, Mr. Carlos Elizondo. Okay, you have 2 minutes. You may begin.
My name is Carlos Alberto Elizondo. I'm a 48-year-old resident of Brownsville, lifetime. I went to school here, starting in elementary at Perez Elementary. Then I went to Oliveira, and I graduated from Homer Hanna High School in 1990. I've been a resident of Brownsville for 48 years. I do have 3 children that have gone through BISD. 2 of them are already graduated, and I have a wife who's a counselor at Rivera High School. So my interest is BISD. I also have attained a bachelor's degree in nursing from UTB, Brownsville, an associate's degree in paramedic science at the TSC, and an associate degree in nursing out of South Texas College. The reason for running is that the school district employees, the staff, the children need a voice again. And I'm here to be that voice in November the 3rd. I've been a lifetime healthcare worker. That's what I studied for. I was a firefighter for the city of Brownsville for over 23 years. I'm a registered nurse. And all I have been done is serving the public. And I want to continue to serve the public here at BISD Place 7. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo. Okay, all right. So we are now going to begin our questions. And again, if you would like a question to be included at towards the end, we're asking that you please text 621-3011 so we can ensure that we do get the text messages. We've been having some trouble as far as the receiving them through the comments. So we just want to make sure that everybody gets that. And what is going on with the clock? Hold on, the clock is like frozen.
Yeah, so I am already getting some of the questions texted through me, so do continue to text them. We are going to be able to, if time permits, put them in at the very end. They will be done randomly in the order of the candidates. So let's try to keep the questions, general questions, not targeted to a specific person, because you do not know who would be the candidate that would be receiving that question. And that way also it's able to get you a better image of the type of candidates that you're looking at. Okay, so I'm sorry?
I got the clock working again.
Okay, great.
All right, let me bring up the wheel.
So the first person would be?
Yes, the first person that's going to be receiving the question, again, we're going to go back up to place 5, will be Daniela Lopez Valdez. Let's spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Safety.
Safety.
It is safety, Veronica.
Got it. Sorry, I know I'm blind. Thank you, Ms. Ida. Okay. Safety. What? Again, you're going to have 3 minutes, okay? What do you think about how BISD has handled the pandemic, and what would you have done differently? Let me get my timer ready. You will have 3 minutes. You may begin.
I feel that basically what's going on with the global pandemic, it is crucial that we listen to the CDC and make sure that we follow the guidelines in place by the experts. I believe that this is a nuanced situation that nobody could have prepared for. And I think that as we go through this, it's important that we look at this as a team effort and make sure that whatever issues have arisen in the past, as we are learning, we fix them quickly and make sure that every single student, staff member, any employee from BISD is provided with the proper tools and the proper safety to be able to provide the best lessons for the students in the most beneficial way for everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez. Okay, resetting my timer. Our next candidate in place 5 is Erasmo Castro. Bringing back up Ms. Ida and the wheel. Spin that wheel.
Spin it. Community.
Community, okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Ida. Okay, community, Mr. Castro. Do you feel BISD has built a good relationship with the community and why? You will have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you. No, I think that it was one of the things that BISD has faltered on. One of the important things in regards to establishing a great relationship with the community is maintaining open, constant, transparent communication. It has been wanting, and one of the things that this pandemic has brought to light is how much we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But what we do see at the board meetings is, very disheartening when you have individuals on the board that are constantly making mention that this pandemic is a hoax, that it'll dissipate and disappear in 3 weeks. When that happens and you don't have a proactive board or a proactive top administration, then you're not going to have individuals that are going to be prepared going all the way down. And what makes that a very uncomfortable situation is that our frontline staff, the individuals that are having to have this interaction with parents and with students, don't have a clear message. There is no plan. There was no plan. And as we go forward, there are still questions in regards to the plan. So this causes disheartenment and confusion for our people. BISD has handled this pandemic in a very, very bad way. They have not been proactive in any way, shape, or form. And one of the things that I would have done differently from the start was bring in the experts. The local experts weren't brought in to give their opinion in regards to the matters. And by bringing in the local experts, you would have covered a lot of the bases in regards to the communication with the community. Throughout the meetings that we had during the summer, we didn't bring a single individual out there from the medical field throughout the city of Brownsville or Cameron County that was actually out there fighting this pandemic. We didn't even bring our head nurse in to give her opinion or her take on the matter. All that individuals had to rely on were the decisions that were being made by the superintendent and his deputies and the top administration and this board that failed the community greatly in regards to their response to the pandemic, and also communicating a clear message in regards to the direction that this board, that this district wanted to take our staff, our employees, our students in. To this day, we are still getting concerns from a lot of individuals out there, and those concerns are being met, are being responded to at a very, very slow pace, where again, it causes that confusion. And the communicating lines that should and need to exist between the board, who are the elected representatives of the people, is wanting and non-existent.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Okay, our next candidate up in place 6, Marisa Leal. Let me bring up Miss Ida and our wheel.
I feel like Vanna White. You only bring me up to spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. For the people who have not didn't see yesterday, it's because she can't see the screen. Working remotely is the topic.
Working remotely. Okay. Yes, I can't see the screen even with glasses. So sad. All right, Miss Leal. Let me have my timer ready. Okay, working remotely. How do you feel about employees working remotely? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Okay, about employees working remotely. Unfortunately, I'm an essential employee, so I didn't have that chance to stay home or work from a space. I had to come to work every day, but I did see what my husband went through. He's a teacher for BISD, and he worked remotely at the spring when all this started at home. It wasn't easy And for the fact that where we live, we don't have good internet. So it would just drop. And it was very frustrating. And even for my daughter as well. They were going in the morning. My daughter was going in, taking her classes 3 times a day. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So we had to go and get a hotspot for each of our phones. And they made it work, but it was very hard. At this time, my daughter is coming to class, luckily for me, here at my office. So she has a little office behind mine, and she's working her class. She's taking her classes through there. My husband decided to go to work at Stillman for the fact that we don't have the proper, internet that goes out there. If we do go in and if it does work, it just drops it. So he is working remotely right now at Stillman, and it's they're working it, and it's hard, and I see the frustration, but at the same time, it's what it is, and it's hard for the parents and the teachers, the administration. Everybody's working, to try to get through this, and it's just, we just need to work together and make it work. So far it's very hard, but it is what it is. And until we find something for this pandemic to go away, because it's not going away anytime soon, hopefully, it we can find a vaccine, but at this time we just have to make it work. So patience, that's all I can ask. Don't be rude to the faculty, to the staff, the cafeteria. I go pick up my daughter's lunch, and they are working. I mean, they are making it work, and it's hard and it's hot, but I mean, they are trying. But thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Leal. Okay. Our next candidate up in place 6 is Mr. Rodriguez. Let's spin the wheel.
Here we go. And it is distance learning.
Distance learning. All right. Thank you, Ida. Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, you will have 3 minutes. Distance learning. How do you feel about the students having distance learning, and why? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Well, our community is very, very lacking in this, in the ability to have this because of the towers that we have, and some people do not have access to adequate the adequate way to do this distance learning. And of course, there are many other things, and one thing is lacking are new ideas and new concepts besides distance learning. Let me just throw one out at you. One is the homework hotline that we used to have here some years back, about 25 years of when Dr. Sandejas first came here. The homework hotline is very usable right now because when the student does not understand what she's assigned with, or doesn't really comprehend what the assignment is, they can make a phone call there, and people are available to give them the proper instruction that they need. That's just an idea thrown out there that was used before. Another concept that I want to bring about in regards to distance learning, we explored the idea of having half schools. I mean, like we did when we had 5,000 students in BISD. I mean, those can be explored, and you have online learning. So as long as all the ideas are explored out there, and we have the experts that do this and apply this every day. But that was just one concept, one idea thrown out there that we got to think out of the box the best way to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Okay. Our next candidate, place 7, Mr. Elizondo. Let me bring on Vanna White and the wheel.
Thank you. I'm
Spin
so
the wheel.
flattered. Gee, spin it. Oh, bilingual.
Bilingual. Okay, let me find my question. Thank you, Vanna. It's going to be your new name. Okay, Mr. Elizondo, let me bring up my timer. Bilingual. Being that BISD is predominantly Spanish speaking, what would you do to support our parents? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
This is a great question. In supporting the parents, you would talk about 100% of the parents, right? And because our language or la lengua is a lot of it is Hispanic, there's a lot of issues that are are predominantly, against most of our children, especially if they come from a only Spanish speaking, home. So to be able to give the teachers, the schools, especially where this population is the highest, and give them the tools to be able to teach not only in English but in Spanish until these these kids who only speak Spanish or have only heard Spanish at home are able to catch up and be able to be 100% functional in our classrooms. A lot of the times what happens is the bullying factor comes into play, especially when they start telling them, hey, this is America. You should speak English. Well, yes, you should speak English. But if you only speak Spanish, education is only as strong as it can be for both of these kids, both populations. And what happens is, some of these kids are left behind. And I think if we are able to give the resources, especially to these teachers who are teaching both languages in one classroom, you'll have a higher success rate in this population. And given the ability for all these individuals who come, that only speak English, be able to understand the reasoning behind some of the sacrifices that these parents did to be able to get these kids into this, what we call a great school district, BISD. So I think the biggest thing here is to be able to make sure that every individual who doesn't know English gets 100% support from every teacher in the school district so they can be a positive, attribute to our society.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo. Okay. So that completes round 1. Again, we're going to repeat that if you would like a question to be asked, that you please text it to 621-3011. Okay, I'm bringing back the wheel for Vanna White.
Thank you. I love this wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Distance learning.
Distance learning. Okay, we're going back up to place 5 with Daniela Lopez. Okay, let me take off Vanna. All right, let me reset my timer. Okay. Ida, what was it? That took too much time away from me.
I know. Let me see. Hold on. Dear Lord.
Do you remember, Daniela? I'm sorry.
Distance learning.
There we go.
That's what I was on, but I was like, am I sure? Sorry about that.
That's okay.
That was my technical difficulty. All right. Distance learning. Do you think the district prepared properly for distance learning for the 2020-2021 school year? And what would you have done differently? Okay. You will have 3 minutes. You may begin.
I am a huge advocate for distance learning because as an early college district, I think that being able to properly conduct distance learning, it gives us a position to be more advanced and use the technology. And we have to make this a new way of instruction for our students. I know that dual enrollment is already conducted. A lot of it is distance learning, and by utilizing these Chromebooks and tablets that the district had, and then plus asking for more, makes sure that they can have a device on a one-to-one basis. I do believe that the district needs to continue to be futuristic and innovative in their planning, because this is the way of the future. I am part of the Connect BTX team, and I really believe in the importance of making sure that the tools are at the disposal of the students. And one of those tools that is extremely important is to Wi-Fi or broadband. And because I'm a member of Connect BTX, this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I am very for bridging the digital divide, because I understand how important it is for our students to have this, and our teachers to conduct the best possible environment for the future. And I believe that this will help us not only be at a certain level, but achieve even more with the proper tools. So I think this is something that isn't going to go away, distance learning, and I think that we need to be the best at it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to reset my timer before I bring Ida on, because then I'm going to forget, because I cannot multitask, apparently.
Okay, what's going on over here?
Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, spin it.
Oh. So our next candidate is going to be Erasmo Castro from place 5.
Finance.
Finance. Okay. All right. Okay, finance. Okay, Mr. Castro. Do you feel the district is transparent in the expenditures of the district? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
I think one of the things that this district is famous for is not being transparent in regards to the finances, the funds, and the money that is supposed to be used for our students and our staff. We have a very, very clear example when we speak about, different individuals that, a certain individual that has been on the board, they know that had access to a lot of our monies out there. And it's very sad that a district at this size, constantly opts to send open records requests to Austin when you try to ask questions in regards to the finances. Recently, we voted on $5.5 million for PPE and for other things for our students in regards to starting off this 2020-2021. It happened actually just this past week, as a matter of fact. And during the same week, we get emails from our deputy superintendents making mention that they don't want to invest in N95 masks for our nurses, our medical professionals. It is very, very unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate, because these are the individuals that are going to have that one-to-one contact with our students and with our staff. Now, did the district properly prepare for 2020, 2021? Unfortunately, no. And the main reason that they didn't properly prepare for 2021 is because they never brought in the experts. Look at, guys, the last semester of 2020, 2019, 2020, the last semester we worked distance learning. And throughout that, our teachers excelled. They did an amazing job. They winged a lot of the things. They were creative. They were innovative. They had the proper tools in order to finish off the school year last year. These individuals were the individuals that should have been brought in to consult, to give the recommendations or suggestions in regards to how to move forward in this 2020-21 year. They weren't brought in. our medical chief nurse, Ms. Bones, wasn't ever brought in to give her opinion or to take on it. So one of the things that I would have done differently in regards to preparing properly for this year is bring in the experts. And the experts are the individuals that are going to be hands-on, our teachers, our diagnosticians, our counselors, our staff. They are the ones that have the answers. It's a wealth of knowledge that is accessible to us as a district. They were never, ever brought in. Guys, we need to constantly have open communication and open dialogue, because that is the way that we're actually going to save money for our district. Because instead of buying machines that we're not using and spending it on things we don't need, we need to focus it on that which actually does work.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Okay, let me bring back on Miss Ida real quick. Before we move on, I just want to make a statement. We are having this forum to keep our community informed. We're asking that you please stop putting posts on our messages that are rude or disrespectful, because you will be blocked. This is not the media for that. We are giving everybody the opportunity here to share their information and their platform and what they're running for. So we are asking that you remain respectful to the people on this panel and to the people who are in the chat. AOBE is not about disrespect. AOBE is the opposite. We want to give everybody their time to speak and let us know what it is that they are about. This is for our members, but yes, our chat and our video are open to everybody in the public, because this information is important to everybody. So please, I ask that you be respectful or you will be blocked.
Correct. And if I may add on that, this is a perfect opportunity to get to know all of the candidates. We're being as fair as possible, giving different questions on different topics that have been brought to us by our membership. So take advantage of the opportunity to get to know the candidates, where they stand, and how informed they are. So it's not to be bashing anybody. It's not for attacks. I know a lot of people have very strong feelings about some of the candidates. And the thing is that right now, this platform right now is being used to inform our public, our membership of the candidates that are currently running. And that is why every candidate was given an opportunity to appear here. And we want to keep this as professional as possible. So we thank everybody for the participation. We've been getting great questions from the membership. And even today, still some great questions are coming in on text messages. So we appreciate that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sorry for the interruption for our candidates. Our next candidate up is going to be from place 6, Marisa Leal. Let me bring up the wheel. Okay, Miss Vanna, can we spin the wheel?
Spin it. Safety.
Safety. All right. Let me look for it, because again, I can't multitask before I get Vanna off the screen in case I forget. And let me reset the timer. All right. Safety, right, Ida?
That is correct.
All righty. And we are going with Miss Marisa Leal. Okay, safety. How do you feel the district can help employees feel safer for work during this pandemic? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
During this pandemic, by supplying them with the proper PPE and by following the original CDC guidelines for opening up the schools, we are already in block scheduling. So we need to see how we can continue that to keep the students practicing social distancing. So they can continue social distancing. We can't bring everybody at the same time. We have to continue social distancing. It's very important. And like I tell my daughter, so as soon as we come in, it's an everyday thing. We go wash our hands, sanitize, spray. We go out to go get her lunch, same thing. We come back, wash our hands. So it's a routine that we have to continue. Plexiglasses for the office. Our nurses, we also need to provide them with a proper PPE, especially our nurses. I know for a fact because my daughter has to go to the nurse when she's in school at least 3 times a day for the medication that she has to take. And then it's like going to the restroom. My daughter has to go to the restroom throughout the day, drinks water, and she has to go to the restroom. So it's the medical that she has. So that again, that worries me. Is the restroom going to be clean? How many times are they going to be cleaning the restroom? For the employees as well. And and 95 masks, even though they're expensive, but they need to provide, especially for the nurses out there, because they're going to be using them every day. And whether they're expensive or not, it's just something that it has to be provided for them. And that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lian. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, let me bring back Miss Ida. Okay.
All right.
And the wheel. All right, our next candidate in place 6, Joe Rodriguez. Let's spin the wheel.
Okay. Food service.
Food service. All right. Food service. I already reset my timer, Ida, so that I don't forget.
Awesome.
Food service. Okay. Mr. Rodriguez, food service. How do you feel about the meal program that was done during the summer, and would you have recommended anything differently? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
The only thing different I would recommend is to realize what we have. We live in one of the 2 poorest counties in the nation. Therefore, the importance of feeding our children in the best way possible and all 3 meals a day, as we did during the regular school year when we began the evening meal for supper meal for kids. It began at 10,000 and increased to 20,000. You have to realize that BISD feeds during the regular school year 100,000 meals a day. That's how many we feed, how much we feed our children. So for any child to go hungry, that's a sin. So we have to find ways of making it as safe as possible to get the meals to them, either by with our use of our buses and keeping our bus drivers safe to deliver them, but not make our people go out in the hot sun to do that. We have to find alternate ways, provide them fans, provide them different methodology to distribute the meal to the kids. I can't say that enough. It's hard to see a child have to go hungry because he did not get a meal at school. I mean, that's really a cardinal sin. I mean, no child in our community with as much food as we have, and the government to mandate that you have to eat all the meal, and they throw a bunch of it away. Trust me, that's a cardinal sin. But I'm in favor of whatever way possible we can improve that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Okay, Ms. Vanna, let me reset my timer. Alrighty. Our next candidate from place 7 will be Carlos Elizondo. Let's spin the wheel. Does it say transportation, Ida? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Transportation.
Transportation. All right. Okay, let me make sure I have my timer up. All right, transportation. How do you feel transportation department employees can be utilized during distance learning? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
It's a great question, and I think it's come up just recently. I think the pressure that we've done, even though we're not board members yet, we put enough pressure on the community and the board members and superintendent to actually look back at transportation. Transportation individuals have been forgotten. Not only have they been forgotten by this current board, they refused to give them a salary increase. They forgot them that they do have families in this district who they need to provide for. Just recently, we've been commenting online saying, why don't the transportation department, in this district be used other than transporting kids to school? We know that kids are not going to go to school right now. Everything is distant learning, and it's probably going to be like this for a while. So what we suggested was, why don't they provide meals to these kids at home so they don't have to be transported? A lot of the kids at home don't have parents with vehicles, or they're not essential, to where they have the ability to stay home like a lot of other people. So the bus drivers were not being given the hours. Not only they've been not given the hours, they've been forgotten. So recently, as a matter of fact, I think today I read that there's going to be a distribution, plan for the meals to be transported to the kids. This thing has been done not proactively, but reactively by the board. And we could also provide the hours that they need. I know that that a lot of these individuals don't make a lot of money, and they are some of the most faithful employees that the school district has. And some of these families are single, parent families. They're both mother and father to these individuals or to these kids. And so just recently, they were able to use the buses that we have. I think we have over 400 bus drivers. Some of them are being used as hotspots, but they're just being parked there. These bus drivers are not getting the hours. These bus monitors are not getting the hours they deserve to be able to make sure they have a living wage. So let's use these buses. Let's use these transportation department individuals to be able to give them the ability to go out there and earn a living wage. The school district has forgotten what it is to be poor. The BISD administrators have forgotten what it is to be poor and to be able to earn a very, very small wage. So I think transportation now is going to be used, and there's overtime that can be paid for. There's a lot of grants. There's a lot of monies that are given to this department. Let's use them. Let's give these individuals the ability to make some money, especially during this pandemic where they've been forgotten. Use them accordingly.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo.
Thank you.
All right. That was round 2. So we will be moving back up to place 5. And again, if you have any questions you would like asked, please text message 621-3011. because we are not getting all the questions on the chat. And make sure your questions are not directed to an individual candidate. Make sure they are directed as a general question in reference to a department or a certain situation, but please do not direct it. We will not direct the question to a certain candidate, okay? All right, Miss Ida, you're on mute. Vanna.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's spin the wheel.
And it is another one for food service.
Food service. Let me find it because, again, I will forget. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Vanna. Okay. All right. Food service. What is your input for the meal program during distance learning? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
I believe that child nutrition is crucial. And as a board member, we need to make sure to continue to provide these resources to our children, as many students rely on these meals. And I feel that when you're trying to roll out a huge operation, it is important that we work through every single detail to make sure that we are best serving every single individual student at their unique needs. And I'm glad that this school district was able to provide over 680,000 meals. And I think that is important that we do our best to make sure that we continue to provide this service, and no child should go hungry. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Vanna. Our next candidate for place 5 is Erasmo Castro. Let me reset my timer. All righty, let's spin that wheel.
And it is right on the line, but it says fine arts.
Fine arts. Okay. All right.
See you in a
Thank you,
bit.
Ms. Vanna. Okay. Fine arts. Okay. Do you think the fine arts department is properly supported in BISD, and why? If you do not, what would you do differently? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Well, I appreciate the question. I appreciate the question because our fine arts department has been neglected by this board in a way that I have never seen any other board do in the past. The superintendent and administration at the upper level has taken away from our bands great amounts of money for instruments that they required and they needed, and they never gave them back. Our high schools were losing $25,000 to $28,000. Our junior highs were losing $15,000 to $18,000 a piece for instrument monies for our children, for our students. And they tried to do a sleight of hand, as they always do, and place it all under transportation costs. It's very, very unfortunate. They always get the short end of the stick. And the reason that it was placed on transportation costs was because our extraneous budget in regards to having to travel to different areas, different locations in order to perform and to practice and to record things that our bands could have done here if the district would have kept its promise of building a performing arts center for our students, for our staff, and for our community. A performing arts a performing arts center was promised back in 2014, 2015. It was voted on. Our taxes were raised. The community overwhelmingly requested, demanded that that board at that time increase the taxes so a performing arts center could be built. as of yet, we have nothing except 3 wooden signs on Morrison Road that say property of BISD. What they have neglected to say is that that property actually belongs to the people of the city of Brownsville, because they pay tax dollars not only to buy the property, but also to build our fine arts department. And again, our community as a whole, a performing arts center. Guys, we must fulfill the promises that we make. If not, we are ineffective servants of the community. Our taxes were raised, money was set aside, build the performing arts center. And band isn't the only one that has been shortchanged. We've also shortchanged our choirs, our theater, and every single art professor out there. Guys, it is because of the arts that our children excel. One of the reasons why BISD it shines throughout the state of Texas and throughout the country is because of its fine arts programs. We have had individuals come from different parts of the country, dare I say different parts of the world, to recognize the amazing talent that we have here in the city of Brownsville. Lopez High School, Pace, every single high school out there, every single middle school has won awards, and we need to be good ambassadors and good stewards of that which is our community.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Vanna, you're back. All right.
Getting some good questions.
We are? Good.
Yes. So it's good. Go ahead and
Okay.
spin it. Let me see.
Yes. This next question will be for our next candidate for place 6, Marisa Leal.
Finance.
Finance. Okay. Okay, Ms. Leal. Finance. Do you feel the district, Ms. Leal, you're on mute. Okay. Do you feel the district properly vets the expenditures before they are done? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Oh, yes. 1 second. Do you feel the district properly vets the expenditures before they are done? Okay. You have 3 minutes. 1 second. My timer is not cooperating. You may begin.
I believe that, hello? I believe that the finance department or
Miss Leal, I think you, oh, are you frozen? Hold on. Okay, I stopped the timer. Miss Leal, can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna start the timer again, okay? You have 2 minutes and 14 seconds left.
Okay, the finance. I don't believe that the expenditures have to be, you have to go over them with everyone, and they have to go over and see if it is properly distributed among, like if it's going to go to fine arts, or if it's going to go to maintenance, or if it's going to go to athletics, they have to make sure that they all get what they're supposed to get and be fair in that part. Not just, oh, because, this school is going to get this much, or, the stadium is going to get this much, and then they're going to forget about the fine arts, or they're going to forget about their special ed. So they have to make sure that all of them have an input of where the finances are going to be distributed, not just because, they need this over here or they need this over here. So let's take away from here to give to them over here. So I believe that we need to really go over and see where we're dropping the ball, and making sure that everybody gets what is fair for everybody, and not just because they need this over here, let's take away from this one over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Leal. Okay. All right. Bringing back Ms. Vanna in the wheel. Let me reset my timer. All right. Okay, our next candidate is Joe Rodriguez. Let's spin the wheel.
Okay. Looks like curriculum and instruction.
Okay. All right, thank you, Vanna. Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, curriculum and instruction. Do you feel the teachers are given appropriate opportunity to provide input or feedback on curriculum decisions? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Well, I believe that they should be involved, and how involved they are should be at the upper level of being involved, and give input to the type of studies that we have. It's very important for them to be a big part of it, since that's what the learning process is. We should have goals, as we do in everything that we can produce. And our goals are very important to adhere to the curriculum and have a goal setting process of what we want to do and what we want to teach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Okay. Our next candidate is going to be place 7, Mr. Carlos Elizondo. Let's spin the wheel.
Policy and procedures.
Policy and procedures. Okay. I like how it does like little starry things, like it's a prize.
All right.
Looks like you won something, right?
Yeah, it says looks like you want something. Okay, policy and procedures. What is your biggest concern with BISD, and what would you do differently to help improve it? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
What a great question. Thank you for asking that one. I believe policy and procedures has to be implemented to what is in the greatest good for the majority. In this case, we just had a policy and procedure that was taken away from the employees. You know, the classified employees lost a procedure or a policy in place to take care of their employment. That cost the district zero monies. The current board knew that this policy and procedure was in place for over 15 years. So our staff at BISD had been enjoying this protection for many, many years at zero cost to the district. Why is it that the current superintendent decided and the current board to take something that costs us District 0 and protected a lot of the majority of the employees of the school district. So I believe that they need to be vetted open publicly, bringing in the stakeholders who is the employees and figure out if this is something that benefits them, then why take it away from them? Policy and procedures should be in place only to develop and to make this environment better for the employee, not to chastise them when something happens. Every individual is not perfect, and policies and procedures should be in place to protect the employee and the staff in case they ever do make a mistake. You shouldn't have to put out someone, to hang because they've made one mistake. Of course, there's different levels of mistakes, and so the policy should be implemented in that kind of way. There should be a growth plan in place. What's happening right now, I think, is a lot of the thing is strike one and you're out. Strike one and you're out, depending on who it favors. Who is your buddy? Who is my friend, my compadre? I think policies and procedures should be in place to benefit the whole, not to chastise our employees. Everybody is scared to make a mistake. And in life, we will make mistakes, and we will teach our students and our employees that it's okay to make a mistake as long as you grow from it, not be chastised on your first offense or on your first mistake. So I believe policy and procedures should be looked at with a magnifying glass and making sure that it's not only fair for the employee, but also fair for the student. And whoever is going to actually go out and enforce that policy and procedure, that they do it with kind hands and educate.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo.
Thank you.
All right. That was the end of round 3, right?
Correct.
Wow. All right. We're going to start round 4. We're going to go back up to place 5. Again, if you would like to ask a question, please text message 621-3011 and do not direct the question to any individual candidate. So we're moving back up to place 5 with Miss Daniela Lopez Valdez. Let me bring up the wheel.
Okay.
All righty, let's spin that wheel.
Distance learning.
Distance learning, okay. All right, distance learning. What do you think about the technology being checked out by students and staff? Please elaborate. You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of the question.
Okay, 1 second. Let me pause it and restart. Let me restart the timer. Okay. What do you think about the technology and about the technology being checked out by students and staff? Can you hear me?
I just heard, what do you think about the technology?
What do you think about the technology being checked out by students and staff? Please elaborate.
I do believe that it is crucial that every student and staff has the proper tools to conduct the best environment for distance learning. And I think every student and staff should have one on a one-to-one basis. And I do believe in regards to hotspots, I believe there's 14,000 of them right now, and there's 20 buses that have the hotspots that are being allocated in the specific areas. And I feel like, if anything, we really need to focus on internet connectivity for everyone. I think that it is very important that, I mean, we can see here that when, for example, my mom has the instance where her first 2 periods, she was able to connect, and then the second period, she lost connection and then wasn't able to get back on with her students. And so I think if there's something that we need to make sure we address and be quick to get this addressed, is making sure that we have proper access to Wi-Fi and broadband specifically for everyone, because this is going to be a long-term thing that we need to do. And I think it's part of the infrastructure of the city, and we need to work together with the city to continue to develop these amazing tools for every single person and every student. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next candidate in place 5 is Erasmo Castro. Let's spin the wheel.
Special education.
Special education. Let me find it. Okay. Okay, special education. Do you feel the special education teachers are properly supported, and why?
Quick answer is absolutely not. And one of the main reasons why the special education teachers are not supported is because they've also felt the lack of leadership and direction. Our interim special ed director has been there for many years, has applied for the position 7 different times, always has come out on top and has never been given the position. We know for a fact that a lot of the different funds that were earmarked for special education that actually came from the federal government, also some from the state, also the some that had been set aside, were used for other things, other pet projects that this board wanted to bring to light, and didn't direct them directly to those that were most in need of them. Now, we have to take care of our special ed students throughout the district, especially at this time where we're going into distance learning. And unfortunately for us, going back into technology being distributed to our students, we always get these different promises, oh, we're going to get 14,000 Chromebooks. We have 14,000 Chromebooks. And then we find out that we actually, well, maybe only have like 2,000, and some are still on back order. And that's where a lot of the confusion comes. And that's great that we're trying to get at the last minute, I guess now at this point, better late than never, all these Chromebooks and all these accessories for our students. That is wonderful. But once have we heard this board or this administration dictate and say what kind of technology we're trying to get for our special education students? Has anyone ever heard anything out there? And look, I get tired of individuals going out, well, maybe y'all are just being negative, maybe y'all are not being positive. And I can easily say that what we are expressing and the reason why we are running for board members is because there is a great dissatisfaction in regards to how a lot of the things have been handled, not only by this administration, but by the current board, how they've placed not only our performing arts center, not only have they placed our teachers, diagnosticians, our counselors, our nurses, our office staff, our staff in the back burner, but they've also put in the back burner our special education students, because there has been no clear pathway in regards to what plan is going to be set in place, not only when we go back to face, but now during distance learning. And it is very, very frustrating for a lot of our special education teachers out there when they don't have the necessary tools or the necessary guidelines in order to implement that which is needed to provide for our students an amazing education. And again, This comes from not bringing in the experts, our special education teachers or or our directors that have been brought in for them to give the advice or the recommendations to how
Thank
to
you,
make
Mr.
this program
Castro.
succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let me reset the timer. Okay. Our next candidate, place 6, Marisa Leal. Let's spin the wheel.
Looks like safety.
Safety. Okay, safety. All right. Safety. Okay, Ms. Leal. Do you think the district has been consistent and fair in employees being allowed to work remotely, and why? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Fair. Well, they did not start with the pandemic earlier when it had originally gotten here. If we would have started from the beginning when it all, everybody was, getting sick, and they, you know, people were saying it's nothing, it's going to go away. No, it hasn't gone away. It's hopefully it will go away, but at this point it hasn't. So that has to be people have to get it in their head that they have to be very careful and that this is serious, especially for our students and for our employees. Some of the schools have shut down. Some of the Glass Palace, we have one of the uh, departments that closed down because somebody had the COVID there. Do I want my child to go back right now? No, I do not. I'm not ready for that, and neither is she. And I'm sure that there's a lot of parents that they're my daughter wants to go back. She was all excited because middle school. First, she's a sixth grader. She's going to be in the school where her dad works. She's all excited, but unfortunately, at this time, we have to go and we have to be safe for everybody's sake. Not just because of my daughter. I'm worried about my nephews, my nieces, my best friend's children, my best friend's grandchildren. My friends. I work for the school district. I still have friends in BISD. I still have my husband's colleagues that I call friends as well. Some of my good friends that I call sisters work for BISD. And that's the part that, safety is the main goal here. And unfortunately, we were not ready. We were not prepared. We're still not prepared. When they're over here supplying the nurses with masks that you can blow, apparently you have to test it. And if you blow, that means that it's not we need to get them the right PPE for the nurses, for the administration. We're talking about some administrators and I love my husband's school administration, all of them. It's like they're on top of the game. They bought stuff out of their own pockets for their teachers. And do I still have time?
You have 2 seconds.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let me reset the timer. All right, the next candidate is Mr. Joe Rodriguez in place 6. Let's spin the wheel.
Safety.
Safety. Okay. Thank you, Vanna.
You're welcome.
We need to give you a raise.
Yes.
Okay. Safety. Do you feel the district has an adequate task force for this pandemic? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Well, I don't see how anybody could have this because nobody knew it was coming, so nobody's prepared. We have to wing it and do our best. But I would go to the experts first to see what we need, because anybody in education that you're not prepared for anything like this. It hasn't happened since 1918. So therefore, nobody's prepared, and you have to go to the experts to find out what is the best way possible for us to be prepared and to get prepared. What is it that we need? Did you vet the $5 million that we just spent last week? I hope you did, and I'm sure you did. But when I'm elected, I won't be afraid to ask you why. I'm not afraid to ask the question of why. Anyway, but as far as safety, that's our most important thing. It's the safety of our kids, our students, and of course, all our employees. I mean, it's the utmost, the biggest part. Let me tell you this. I would hate to be a board member that forced the kids to go back to school. That answers the whole question. I would hate to lose a student. I love the students. I love the kids. I love Brownsville. And that's why I'm a candidate. And that's why you'll elect me to be a BISD trustee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. All right. Our next candidate for place 7, Mr. Carlos Elizondo. Let's spin the wheel.
Policy and procedures.
Policy and procedures. All right. Okay. Policy and procedures, Mr. Elizondo. How do you think Dr. Gutierrez is doing as a superintendent and why? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
I think I answered it. What do I think about his performance as a superintendent with his policy and procedure? First and foremost, the question that was asked right before this. He's using policy and procedure to chastise our employees. And by doing so, you create this environment of animosity, of people being scared to go to work, people retiring, people being forced to leave something they've loved for decades. You have teachers just saying, I'm done. They are going to come after me. They're going to use this policy and procedure on the opposite end. Instead of being able to use a policy and procedure to be able to educate individuals who are making mistakes, they're using it to chastise people, to scare them into submission, and to get rid of them. That is not the way you use policy and procedure. That is not something I would support. If I was a current board member, believe me, I would use policy and procedure to make sure that we are able to redirect the superintendent, to make sure that he follows his contract to the letter of the law, and to put back not only to the staff, but to the children of BISD, the ability to say BISD is the best choice. Instead of saying, you know what, I don't want to go to work today. I'm scared to go to work. I might make a mistake, and they're going to use this policy and procedure to be able to either fire me, put me in a pool, or put me somewhere where I do not belong. There's been too many individuals with the school district that are being misplaced in places that they are not even trained for. You have career teachers who are being either put in a pool because of this detriment that this individual, who's the leader of over 40,000 kids and over 7,000 employees. So he's using the letter of this policy and procedure in the utmost disrespectful way to every employee of the district. I don't believe that he is being told by the current board that he needs to respect, encourage, and educate instead of chastising every individual that he can into submission by slamming them with policy and procedure innuendos. And then the attorneys, thank God for, associations like AOB who have to defend every individual who gets put in that predicament. Because if not, no employee outside of AOB has the money to be able to hire an attorney to fight a beast like BISD. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo. Okay, so that was the end of round 4. Again, if you have any questions you would like to for us to ask, please text message 621-3011. Okay, we're moving back up to the top of the list again to place 5. Our next candidate, I wanted to say contestant again, right? The price is right. It's going to be Ms. Daniela Lopez Valdez. Let me bring up the wheel. So we're starting round 5. Let's
Correct.
spin the wheel. Finance. All right. Ida.
Yes.
I finished my finance questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then let's go ahead and spin it again then.
Yes, please.
Or no, you can just repeat one of the questions. Choose one of the questions if she hasn't gotten it.
Okay, I'll do that then. All right.
If she hasn't gotten that question, she can go ahead and answer one of those.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Sorry, I cut Ida off really quick. Okay, Ms. Valdez. Finance. Do you feel the district is transparent in the expenditures of the district? Okay, you have 3 minutes. You may begin.
I feel that it is extremely crucial that we are transparent because I believe that as a district, all this information should be public. I think that it is important that we look at our finances and expenditures and make sure that they are being properly used and properly used to the best to serve the students and the staff. And I believe that we need to especially make sure right now with our current pandemic that we are using any funds that we need to make sure that every single employee has the proper safety tools and measures in place to conduct a successful new year, especially with distance learning, with the possibility of coming back to school and making sure that every single dollar is effectively used to best serve the staff and the students of BISD. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez. All right. Okay. Our next candidate is place 5, Erasmo Castro. Let's spin the wheel.
Spin it.
Safety, right?
Safety.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Vanna. Okay, Mr. Castro, safety. Currently, FNS employees are being forced to work in the heat without proper safety measures, and we don't know if they will be forced to continue to work if there is rain. What are your thoughts on this, and what would you do to protect the employees' well-being? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you. You know, I'm glad we got this question because it is a very important question. Look at There's nothing more important than protecting the safety and well-being of all our staff out there. And one of the first individuals that succumbed to COVID-19 in our district was one of our food and nutritional services personnel, a beautiful person that was greatly loved by a staff and student from one of our schools. It is very, very unfortunate because our individuals that are more in tune and closer to our students on a daily basis are those that we are throwing out there onto the campuses without the proper PPE and without proper tools, items that they're going to need in order to maintain themselves safe. And the focus might be in regards to the coronavirus that we're going through right now. But in regards to our food and nutritional services, people that are out there providing meals for our students, it's not the only thing that they're facing right now. They're also facing heat strokes. At our schools, at some of our schools, there weren't canopies out there for our food and nutritional services personnel who are out there distributing food. And now they feel that they are out there on a timer of sorts, because if they don't produce, if they don't distribute so many meals, then they might lose their job. Now, our food and nutritional services people that are out there serving foods at different schools, they're wearing black outfits in Brownsville heat, in Brownsville sun, wearing face coverings and gloves. Goodness gracious, folks. If the coronavirus is not going to get our people, a heat stroke, exhaustion, dehydration, and for some reason, our director of food and nutritional services, or the deputy superintendent, Dr. Cantu, completely ignores the situation or just doesn't care. And that is what's very, very sad about the situation. Now, in the district, in regards to the funds that we are receiving, is expenditure of the funds being transparent? Absolutely not. The funds that we receive from the federal and the state government should go to the safety and protection of our individuals that are not only out there in danger of getting coronavirus, but also of any other ailment or any other side effect, any other catastrophe that could happen to them, because they've been placed in harm's way by an administration that spends all day on the third floor of the glass palace in air condition to 68, 67 degrees, which is nuts, while our people are out there distributing food. And when the superintendent and board members do show up, they show up only for picture moments. We've got to start caring about our personnel and their safety and well-being.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Okay. Our next candidate on our list for place 6, Marisa Leal. Let's spin the wheel. Is it spinning? Okay.
Yes. It's right on the line. Special education.
Special education. Okay. Okay, Ms. Leal, special education. What are your recommendations for distance learning for special education teachers? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Distant learning for special education teachers. They are special, let me tell you. Those teachers, they do so much for those students and for every student, for that fact. My daughter is, she is a 504 medical, because she has a diabetes insipidus. and she also is ADHD, and she's also dyslexic. So teachers, the school that she was at, Iture Elementary, love them. Every single person, administration, teachers, even if they weren't her teachers. But the special ed teachers were, I mean, always doing for the kids. She also played chess, and we had a child that was bound to a wheelchair, and he played chess as well. And special ed teachers are, they need to be recognized. They need to be pat in the back, and they need to be really taken care of. And it seems that they just, they forget about that. Not that they forget about them, but it's like they are a special part of the school, and they are, if the thing is that with the special ed teachers is, I'm sorry, is that my sister is also a special ed teacher, and she is always out there. She had a girl that was, she even made she made cheerleading as well, and that takes a lot, for them to go to practice, stay focused. It the teacher has to, the teacher has to be, on them at all times, reminding them and being there for them, that they become more than just a teacher. They become more like a mom figure, like a sister figure. And without them, I mean, they would just be just the forgotten child. And thank God for some of the teachers that are out there, especially the special ed teachers, that they do so much for those kids. And they do, the thing is that, good.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Leal.
Yes.
Okay. Our next candidate is Mr. Joe Rodriguez. And we have 50-50 distance learning. So we don't need to spin the wheel.
Spin it. There you go.
And surprise, it's
Distance learning.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Vanna. You're doing awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez, distance learning. Should parents be given a manual to help support their children's distance learning? Please elaborate. You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Well, that's without a doubt. I mean, even teachers are afraid of distance learning. So why not the parents? They're not knowledgeable. That's why I said maybe we should go back to the homework hotline to provide the assistance to students that don't understand it all. And also, there's not enough hotspots in the city to do that. So maybe we should make some effort to bring those students into some resource to where they can learn, on-site learning. I mean, that's why, I expressed the idea of going to half-a-day schools, but, the people, we have to get our thinking caps on and do what's best for the kids and that's why we have a school board. That's why we have public schools. That's why it started, to assist and to make sure that everybody gets a proper education and the best education possible. And that's the number one goal of me as a trustee. And distance learning, I'm all for it, and I'll let the experts say how it has to be done. I'm not an expert on that at all, period. I mean, but I do expect us to hire and get our resources together and get our advice of how the best way to do it, and we should send our administration to bring forth that to be an occurrence in our district, and to assist our students and the parents. Also, there's some teachers that are afraid of distance learning because they're not capable of doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Okay. We don't need to spin a wheel, right? Our last question is distance learning.
That is correct.
I just wanted to bring Dana on for just a second.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That airtime.
Okay. All right. Distance learning. Do you feel students should have extra tutorials to help with distance learning? You have 3 minutes. You may begin.
Well, the answer would be yes. But I think we're a little late in the game. I think the tutorial should have been done, and the preparation for distance learning should have been done when this first started. You know, they should have started the plan. It's like, you know, they announced a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. Do we sit idle until that day and say, oh, you know what? The hurricane is coming. Let's board up the house. Let's board up our windows. Let's go buy, you know, groceries and water and a generator. So I think the district took in that same approach. They waited a little too long. So what's happening now is that we're pressuring all our IT specialists, which is a very, very small department for a district this big. And we're pressuring our, you know, our teachers and our counselors and our nurses and our diagnosticians, everybody, you know, get an oar. Let's start getting this boat out of this huge, you know, storm that we're in. And what happens is that now you're putting all this pressure on all these individuals who have not been trained to be IT specialists. That's why this district has an IT department with individuals who are trained for that, who have gone to school, who continue to be there. You know, and you're looking at an IT department who has maybe 20 individuals for a school district with over 40,000 kids. Can you imagine the pressure that these people are in? Not only that, but they have to combat the pressure of the internet going down, the server going down. You know, and some of these individuals are working 20-hour days, you know, and sometimes they even get calls in the middle of the night because you have teachers, you have counselors, you have everybody working at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure that our kids have the utmost preparation to be able to be successful. And when it crashes the very next day, just like my kids, you know, computer crashed, I had to sit here for about 2 hours to be able to get her back into the Zoom meeting to be able to continue her education. And so what happens is, you know, how are we going to tutor these kids to be able to do distance learning other than bring individuals? But we should have done this with ample time. Do I feel that we need to continue to push, you know, tutoring? Yes, we do. Our kids, our parents, and some of the teachers need to be tutored on how to be able to be actively engaged in this distance learning that has been forced on us. So tutoring is 100% correct. You have an individual out there that put out a video, an ex-commissioner for the city of Brownsville, to be able to help and tutor his kids and his parents. And it was shared over, I think, 500 times because people want that information. Not only did he do it in English, but in Spanish. And we've been lacking that tutoring from the school district and from this administration. So yes, I believe that we need to increase the tutoring to make it a positive environment for our kids to be educated.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo.
Thank you.
So that concludes round 5.
Wow.
We are going to start with questions from the public, correct?
Yes. Okay. So I went through all of these questions, and I excluded ones that were specific ones, and some that there's no way that they would know because they are not incumbents and things like that. But more general questions that would help to get a good view of their stance on certain different topics. So I I picked out of all of these. It was great questions. I wish we would have received them earlier so we could have planned appropriately with the time. But I picked out the 5. That way, since we're already coming up on close to two hours. So let's go ahead and start with the first one.
All right. We're going back up again to place 5 with Ms. Daniela Lopez Valdez, and I'm going to remove myself, Ida, so you can be on the screen with her reading the question, okay?
Okay. Okay, Ms. Lopez. The question is, how will you ensure that funds are not misappropriated during your tenure?
One of my main priorities is fiscal responsibility. And I say this and I stress this often because I believe it is so important that we make sure that the funds are properly being used to serve what BISD is here for, and that's the students first and foremost. And I will make sure, with my experience that I have from working with large budgets, I will make sure that every single dollar is used appropriately to serve the best education that we can possibly offer for our students of BISD. And I will make sure that all of our educators have exactly what they need to make sure that they are doing the best they can and make a very honest and serve with integrity to make sure that we use this very big $558 million budget to the best of its ability. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez.
Great.
Okay, our next candidate for place 5 is Erasmo Castro.
Okay.
Ida, will you do me a favor and will you say your time starts now so I know when to click
Okay.
please por favor. Thank you.
Definitely. Okay. All right. Let me see, Mr. Castro. Your question is, what kind of contingency plan do you have to bring students back from private and charter schools?
One of the things,
Your time starts now.
one of the things that we have failed as a district is marketing all the amazing programs that happen throughout the district. In my tenure as a board member, I was surprised at all the amazing events, amazing programs going on throughout the district. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Olimeda Middle School had an amazing gardening program. And I know for a fact that a lot of individuals throughout the community were so interested in the gardening program, because of our healthy directives going on by the city commission and our healthy eatings that we lived through during the previous president. So starting a garden seemed appropriate. And we had an amazing growing garden at Oliveda Middle School. And, I was able to see it. I was able to speak to teachers out there and see how the students interacted with it. Well, this is something that when I shared it, on my page in regards to what was going on at Oliveda Middle School, a lot of people didn't even know that was happening. And that's just one of the examples. Up at Hudson Elementary, we have a Coyote News Network. Coyote News Network is where students, they give out the daily announcements in the morning, and it's called CNN, Coyote News Network. And it's an amazing program because the students, they produce, they film, they produce the sound effects. They give out the news, the weather, and any other happening going on at Hudson Elementary. And that's just to name 2 of the amazing programs that are out there. Amazing things happen throughout this district, and amazing things happen throughout this district because we have amazing programs that no one else offers. Where we have failed the district is that we've politicized every position out there that has to do with marketing. It is very, very unfortunate that board members out there direct the superintendent in regards to who to hire and hire individuals that are not qualified for a position whatsoever, that their only qualification would be their relationship with a current board member. That has got to stop. If we don't have the most qualified individuals out there producing for our district, producing for our staff, and producing for our students, then we're going to continue to lose students because everything that the teachers do Everything that our food nutritional services people do is amazing. But what our top administrators, what our board members do is lackluster, is detrimental, it is disheartening. Because when you have an administration and a board that thinks and even states clearly, there's a recording, superintendent stated, oh, these teachers, they just don't want to work. It is very, very unfortunate. That goes to show that they don't know the district. And if they don't know the district, they can't market the district and encourage other individuals
Thank
to
you,
come on
Mr.
to our
Castro.
amazing school.
Thank you, Mr. Castro.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next candidate is place 6, Marisa Leal.
Okay. Next question is, what is your stand? I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What is your stance on extending the superintendent's contract and allowing him to receive a raise prior to completing a 1-year term as superintendent?
Good question.
Your time starts now. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Good question. That extension that they gave him, I don't agree with, for the fact that he hasn't even been superintendent here for a year. And that was just not, it wasn't right. You know, he had, if people are saying that he has been doing extraordinary work, extraordinary job, this and that. And at this time, we're not ready for the pandemic. And especially the amount of salary that he is getting right now is just for our district is big, but the amount of salary that he's getting, and I don't see him doing what he's supposed to do as a superintendent and our leader for BISD. And he also has 2 under him also that are getting paid a lot. And then we also have the ones that are the AAs as well. But when it comes to the superintendent, no, I do not believe that the extension to his contract was the best choice at this time. Why they did that, I don't understand. Even even if they would have waited for the year. It's like, tell me what he's done at this point, and let's go from there. But when you're extending and his contract another year, and then he gets another raise, now I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Leal. Okay, our next candidate for place 6, Mr. Joe Rodriguez.
Okay. And sorry, I forgot to say the time starts now on the last one.
It's okay.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, here's your question. It's a statement first and then the question. Okay. I am an employee with BISD. I caught the coronavirus and my immune system was severely compromised. What would you do to assure that I would be safe if and when returning to the campus for face-to-face teaching? Your time starts now.
Well, to answer your question first, nobody in BISD is capable to tell you when to return safely to work. It's important that we know that. So nobody can mandate you to come back to work unless you're cleared by a doctor. Now, that's the number one concern, the safety of our students and our employees is the most important thing. I would hate to be complicit in being someone to order any student or any employee back to work, and then something terrible happened that we can't undo that fact. And so I would be very careful in instructing anybody. And we have to rely on the experts. Get 3 doctors and let them examine him. The employee that got sick, is she capable of going back to work? Is he capable? And go from there. Has to be a program set up, and really, I mean, think about it. Lose a child or lose an employee because you made a decision for that. I don't want to be any part of that. So we have to be very careful about what we do. We have to study it, and when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot. You got to go to the experts to go get some advice. Have a meeting with Region 1 and see what other superintendents are doing, how they manage their school districts. All of that has to be. We're in a different world. I mean, you have to understand. Nobody has experience of how to do this best. Even the president of the United States doesn't know how to handle the deal. I mean, no. So who was the expert? The doctors that say, "Hey, you're at liberty to do this, and you can open up." Look at what New York City's done. They went from the worst to 1%, the best. I mean, because somebody studied it and took time to resolve the issue and got after it, and so that's my answer. I mean, we have to resort to the rely on the experts for them to give us a mandate. Hey, this employee can go back to school, and maybe not only one, get 2 or 3 ideas. I mean, they have insurance. We have insurance. We pay a heck of a lot of money for insurance. Trust me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Okay. Our next candidate for place 7, Carlos Elizondo. Oy,
Okay.
let me bring him up.
Okay. Your question is, teachers are using their own phones and upgrading their Wi-Fi and internet. How do you feel about compensating the teachers and paraprofessionals? Your time starts now.
How do I feel about that? I'm telling you, we're paying as a family right now, as a wife that's a counselor at one of the high schools here in the district. We've had to pay for her use of telephone service and internet. So it's costing us. Fortunately for us right now, we do have the ability to pay for it. But there's a lot of other employees that are not as fortunate as we are. And I believe that the school district, if they have monies to be able to give raises to the highest salary in this district, they should be able to sit down collaboratively and figure out how they can reimburse every individual who's using their own internet or their own cell phone, as they do the work for the school district. You're talking about maybe $100, maybe less for some individuals. And not everybody's going to ask for it, but they should be able to reimburse these individuals who are using it in their scope of their work to make sure that they educate our kids and they facilitate the work that's being put on them from the school district and the superintendent, right? So what happens is, COVID has hit everybody. And it's just fair to say that the school district should take a responsible approach and be able to supply these individuals who are doing the scope of work that's required of them from the school district and pay them. Give them something instead of just like they're picking and choosing who they're going to give these stipends, these COVID stipends, these CARE Acts. Why is it that hotspots are even being bought? They should have collaboratively gotten together and thought about this back in March. And by now we would have had a decision. Go out and look at who is providing internet service. You've got Spectrum, you have AT&T, you have, T-Mobile, you have a bunch of these individuals. Instead of buying millions and millions of dollars in hotspots and equipping buses that are not working to be able to suffice the need of these kids, They should have maybe said, you know what, we're going to give every family member who has a kid in this district a stipend so they can get internet service at their home. Because some of these families don't have one child. Some of these have 2, 3, 4, 5. These people are using many megabytes of data to be able to suffice the needs that TA has put on the school district. But yet we are not even thinking out of the box. We are here trying to see how someone is going to go above and beyond. Someone's going to go get a raise. Someone's going to get a job. They've forgotten about the person that's ultimately in the front line, your teacher, your educator, and your child.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo. Okay, Ms. Ida. So now we begin closing statements, correct?
That is correct. You can start from the top in
All right.
the same order, and it's 2 minutes for closing statements.
Yes, I'm going to reset my timer to 2 minutes. Okay, and we are going to go up to place 5, Ms. Daniela Lopez Valdez. You will have 2 minutes for your closing statements. You may begin.
I would like to thank the members of the AOBE again for inviting me to participate in this forum. I believe that my experience in working effectively on a team, my familiarity with working with large budgets, and my strong work ethic and determination will be an asset to the board. As your Board of Trustee member, I will ensure that the safety and well-being of our students, teachers, and staff are the top priority. Most importantly, I will work hard to represent the students and staff of our district with the principles of honesty, integrity, and public service. I humbly ask for your vote and support this November 3rd. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez. Okay, let me reset my timer. Our next candidate, when my timer resets. For place 5, Mr. Erasmo Castro. You will have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you, AOBE, and to everyone out there that joined us tonight. This is going to be one of the most important races for our community as a whole. It's during these trying times that we expect some form of leadership from the individuals that we place in elected office. Serving as an elected official isn't a stepping stone to other things. It isn't one other thing that can be bought, one other thing that I can have that someone can give me and someone can place on me. You must be prepared. You must be willing to hear out everyone out there in the community. What we've experienced from this board currently is no connection, no empathy, and no sympathy. They have shown us time and time again through the decisions that they have made that they do not care one bit, no way, no form. They do not care. And when you do disqualify, you take away caring from the process, then you're going to have a lot of things that are inappropriate, funds that are being diverted. You're going to have individuals who take money from vendors and from special interests and who vote a certain way. Guys, I am Erasmo Castro. I was born and raised down southmost. I am one of you. I care. I care for our staff, our personnel. I feel the pain, the anguish, the anxiety that you have felt these past 6 months at the whim of this administration that has gone awry. There's only one candidate in place 5 who can empathize with you, who can sympathize with you, who will fight for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Okay, our next candidate up, Sorry, Molly's upset. For place 6, Marisa Leal. You have 2 minutes. Oh, you're on mute, Marisa. There you go. You have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you to AOBE for hosting this forum tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Marisa Franco Leal, and I am running for place 6 on the BISD Board of Trustees. We all want what is best for all of our children. We also want what is best for those that we entrust our children to every day, from the bus drivers, FNS employees, office staff, administrators, counselors, nurses, teachers, and everyone who has a place in educating our children. I am running for the BISD board as a proud product of BISD. I truly believe that our school district is in need of new leadership and a new vision. I have that vision, and if entrusted with your help, support, and vote, I will see to it that BISD provides all of our children with an exceptional education, lifelong memories, and a great start to their future. I am Marisa Franco Leal, and I am running for place 6 on the BISD Board of Trustees. I am humbly asking you for your support and vote in November. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Leal. Okay. Our next candidate for place 6, Mr. Joe Rodriguez. You will have 2 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting us. God has blessed me. I was blessed with a great wife, late wife. She passed away 6 years ago. 4 great children. And I was blessed by being able to serve as a board of trustees for 34 years. 15 at South Texas, where I am a founder of South Texas. How are you a founder? You started school. I started a school with the late Raul Bastedo. I have been honored to serve BISD and give back for 19 years as a board member here, where I've been elected 5 times as a leader of this district, this great district. I want to tell you that. I am blessed with not falling into being complicit in any manner in all the 34 years as a board member in wrongdoing. I have never been complicit. I'll repeat that again because I'm proud of that. I have been blessed with being able to write the front of a check and not only the back of a check, which I received 3 back of the checks for 37 years from BISD, and I thank them for that. But I have also run a multi-million-dollar business, so I was able to sign the front of the check, and it's not the same, trust me. So I can handle a $550 million budget, which is the largest budget south of San Antonio, and I can do that. I am able to say no, and most proud of are the student athletes that I coach. I love them dearly. The Brownsville kids are greatest kids because once you capture your heart, they'll give you your soul, their heart, everything. And I want to thank them. I want to thank the city of Brownsville. For giving me the opportunity to be able to be a coach. And
Thank
in
you, Mr.
return,
Rodriguez.
I'll just
Thank
say
you.
one more thing. In return, I've given out 988 personal scholarships to the children of Brownsville. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next, oh my gosh, I was going to say contestant again. Ay, ay, ay. Place 7, our next candidate, Mr. Carlos Elizondo.
Thank you, AOB. Thank
You
you,
have
everyone.
2 minutes. You may begin.
Thank you for this opportunity to be here. I wish I had my opponent out here so we can dialogue between his thoughts and my thoughts. But first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for being out here, asking the hard questions, of course, and the comments, of course. Everything's accepted, and it is politics, right? But more than anything, I am a true leader, and tried at that. I've fallen, I've been hit, but I've stood up every time, and I can show everybody that just because you have haters out there and you have people that will with forked tongues and people that will lie, that doesn't mean that you cannot succeed. Just like every child here has the opportunity to fall, but has the opportunity to rise again and be successful. We will not sit here and tell everybody, that we know all the answers. We will not sit here and say we're the experts at running a school district. But believe me when I tell you, I am one that has been shown to continue to march forward in the best interest of every individual that attends BISD and everybody that's employed under BISD. I will continue to be the voice and the change that BISD needs so heartedly right now, especially after this pandemic. I will be the voice for every individual out there that comes out and expresses their thoughts, their concerns. I will be the voice that this school district needs November the 3rd. No matter what anybody says about me, I know that I have true platform here in this place that I call home. Brownsville, Texas is where I've lived, where I'll continue to live, and where my kids will be educated. I continue to show them, no matter what happens, you continue to march forward. You continue to do the right thing, and you continue to be successful, especially through education. Thank you. My name is Carlos Elizondo, place number 7.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo. Okay, Ms. Ida.
All right.
Yay, that concludes. I'm going to bring everybody on so we can thank them.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So I just want to say thank you so much for participating in our virtual forum. This is very new to all of us. And of course, there was a little bit some glitches, including my memory when I forgot with Ms. Valdez. I apologize. And I also want to apologize for the very disrespectful comments that were being made. We understand people don't always agree. We understand that, people have their opinions. But when it comes to being disrespectful, we fight for respect for our employees, and we will not be allowing that kind of behavior. So I apologize for those watching that were reading those comments, and I apologize to the candidates on this forum for that. There are comments that are made that are they don't agree with what was said, or they don't agree with what the comments that the candidates were making. But when it comes to being very disrespectful, it will not be tolerated. AOB is not about that. So I just want to thank the candidates for participating with us. It's very important, like I said, that the community know your stance and what it is that you're going to offer us when you do, when whoever becomes elected is elected. And so, Ms. Ida, did I miss anything?
No, you covered quite a bit. Well, actually, what I did want to add is also thanking everyone for participating. And we know it's not easy to be here on this platform, especially if you're not used to it. But I do want to thank everybody who also did send in the questions. There was several questions that didn't get to make it on here, or else we would have been here all night. So on our website, we do have the questionnaire that the candidates filled out, and it does have their email information. So if you do want to send questions to the candidates, you're more than welcome to do that. We might see about maybe sending them a follow-up questionnaire and see how they feel about that, just to put it out there to the public. But it was really good. It was kind of a long forum, but it was some good information.
Yes, and just a reminder for our AOBE members, on Saturday, this Saturday, tomorrow, we will be sending out our ballots because, as previously mentioned, we are a democratic association, and so our members will be making the choice for us. Okay, we will be sending out the ballots tomorrow. And Ida, do we have a deadline? How many days we're going to give?
We're going to see. We will be sending all of that as far as the guidelines and restrictions, and to the membership, where we will be verifying membership in order for them to be able to vote. and that will decide the endorsement of the candidates.
Yes. Again, thank you very much, everybody, for. Oh, sorry. Yes, Ida.
If I may add also, again, as Veronica mentioned at the beginning of the forum yesterday, the process was made available to all candidates. We did reach out to every single candidate that signed up in this election. So if unfortunately they were not able to respond or submit their questionnaire, they will not be considered for endorsement, because we need to vet the candidates properly, and we need to make sure where they stand in regards to some of the issues and concerns that we have from our members. So in order to be considered for endorsement from the association, you have to go through the entire process. So that is why we gave every candidate a opportunity to participate, and so only the candidates that participated will be on the ballot.
Yes. So thank you again, and we hope you have a good night. And AOBE members, please keep an eye out for the ballots that will be sent out tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.